Hey folks, I'm Chad, and this is my Padawan Path. Tonight, let's talk Star Wars, but let's do it while putting this together. So initially, for this video, I had bought a Lego set. This little guy right here with his little ship, the Captain Rex Y-Wing microfighter. And the reason why we're doing the puzzle instead of this is because since I'm starting at the beginning and I'm not familiar with, I would say, I don't know, at least 50% of the Star Wars characters outside of the original trilogy. I kind of wanted to do something using characters that I'm familiar with at this point, at this stage in my rediscovery of Star Wars. If this is your first time here, I have ignored Star Wars for 40 plus years. I'm rediscovering the trilogy as well as everything thereafter, falling in love all over again, and I invite you to join me. So for this video, I wanted to do a little vlog where we talk about Star Wars. I have a lot to talk about, but I don't have a lot of things to cover. Like, I've only seen Star Wars in The Empire Strikes Back. Of course, I saw Return of the Jedi 40 plus years ago, and I will be watching that soon and posting my reaction. I'll be posting reactions to all of this stuff, the TV shows, everything. I wanted to have a discussion using something as almost like this middleman, which is the puzzle that you're watching me put together right now. Puzzles for me are kind of like chocolate chip mint ice cream. It's like you just get a craving for it, maybe once every couple of years or something, and then you have a bowl and you're like, ugh, okay, that was rich, and I'm good for another year or two. That's how I am with puzzles. It's like, man, you know what? That looks kind of fun. Let's put a puzzle together. And then I'm good for a while. And that's how this went down. But rest assured, once I'm introduced to Captain Rex and whatever movie and or series he's in, we will definitely be putting together that Lego set. Between you and me, I bought that because it was so cheap. Legos are expensive. Now, if you watched my reaction to Empire Strikes Back at the end of the video, I did mention that I thought I maybe liked Star Wars A New Hope better than Empire Strikes Back, but that I had to sleep on it. I slept on it, and they're kind of tied for me. I think they're both great movies. There's so many things that really hold up well, or feels like ahead of its time. The lighting and the cinematography, the sets, the creation of the droids, the creation of the ships. I saw a really cool coffee table book put out by DK that shows like the insides of the ships, like cross sections. I'm gonna have to get that book. If you saw my first Star Wars haul, you did see that I did buy a really cool DK coffee table book, The Ultimate Guide. That's one thing that I've learned to love about Star Wars, is just diving so deep into the lore. There's a lot to get into. You know, it's not just a ship flying through the air. It has a name, and it has a pilot, and it has a history, and it has all the parts that you see have names to them and functions, and I love that. And I love that the droids are not androids like Data, you know, that have like this human aspect to them. They look like humans. It's so much more fun to have something that's not quite steampunk, but clearly made of metal and moving parts. And they're shaped differently. Some are humanoids, some are not, like R2-D2. And R2-D2, even though he doesn't speak a word of English, there's so much character to him. And he's a lovable character with his screams and boopy boop bleeps, all that stuff. Yeah, I just feel like a lot of time had to have been put into the creation of this movie. You know, it's more than just a screenplay. I mean, there's a real background here, just real dense lore. And it feels like never ending. Now that the movie's been out for, you know, almost 50 years, countless, you know, movies and shows, cartoons, toys, books, tons of books. So many characters have been created and so much lore to dissect. That appeals to me. I love the fact that I have so much that's available to me that I still need to get into. I'll tell you a quick story about the time I went and saw Star Wars. My biological father took me. I didn't really know him. I had only spent a handful of days with him, really, that I could remember up until that point. I was very intimidated by him, and he was in town. He took me to the movie. He let me sit on his lap and steer the sports car he had. And some kids behind us were, I guess, being loud. And my dad was a very confrontational person. And he let these kids know that he was not happy with their ruckus. And he turned around and yelled at them to shut up. And I was mortified and frightened and terrified of him because of that. One other thing I'm really looking forward to through this process is meeting people, getting to know other, I guess, toy collectors, fans of Star Wars, readers of the books. I'm not sure what to expect. I know that some communities can be toxic. Probably any community that has human beings as a part of it is going to involve some type of drama somewhere along the line. I'm filming these videos and I'm putting the first 5 up all at the same time with the hopes of becoming a member of the community somehow. I don't know what kind of welcome I will get. You know, the collectors, the artists, people who do fan art, dioramas. I've gone down a rabbit hole with that. I think that's something I would be interested in doing, creating dioramas for bits of my collection as I start to collect. That sounds like a lot of fun. My wife and I have some experience with doing some things like that. We're both artists and have worked in a multitude of mediums. When I talked to her about it and showed her some stuff, she was all about it. So I've joined a few Facebook groups, looking at pictures, plan on subscribing to some of these channels I've been watching, and I love meeting new people, making new friends. Being a writer for the last over a decade, I've met a lot of people. I've met some lifelong friends that I'm very close with. My wife bought me another new shirt. You know, she has bought me 3 shirts since I decided I was gonna dive into this whole Star Wars thing, start collecting and appreciating. That's how awesome she is. She is always so supportive. Boy, when diving into the toy collecting aspect of Star Wars, I was shocked at the many different lines. Is that maybe what they're called? I don't know the entire vocabulary. I'm learning. Yeah, the Black Series, and you've got the TVC. Is that what they're called? And then of course all of the original stuff, which I'm sure I will never be able to afford. I do wish that I would have kept my old toys, the Death Star playset and all my figures, and I don't know that I would use the bed sheets. I'm very much interested in the mission fleet. It looks like the line is maybe discontinued, but I think that there's enough there, just enough to where I could be a completist in that area. There's not too much, and the ships are cool. The ships are sizable. I'm also interested in the micro galaxy stuff and even the micro machines playsets. Those are kind of cool. I also saw the little Jedi Adventures. Is that what they're called? I don't know that I will collect those, but they are cool, and the price feels very fair. I believe I'm going to, at the very least, get my grandson the playset or one of the ships with some of the figures. He's a big fan of Buzz Lightyear, so maybe we can make him a Star Wars fan too. The Stormtroopers, I've always loved their costumes. Their armor is so cool. And at this point, the only figure I own is the Stormtrooper there behind me. I won't be long before I'll have a few figures, but this is where it starts. This guy right here, this 12-inch Hasbro thing. The Star Wars font is so recognizable. You just know it right away. It's pretty neat. I wonder if the person who created it, if they set up some kind of deal where they're just paid royalties every time it's used by, probably not, but it would have been a cool contract to have. Princess Leia, as a kid, I never really had the hots for her, but I can see the beauty there these days for sure. I think it's because by the time I was checking the chicks out, I was done with Star Wars. I think for most young boys, it was just like, at least my age at that time when Star Wars came out, 7 years old. It was just like, a girl. I needed another maybe 5 or 6 years to appreciate the females. I had a Landspeeder toy. That thing was very cool, the way that it had these like spring-loaded wheels underneath it that would make it appear like it was really floating across the carpet. You had to have the right carpet, of course. And fortunately for me, my basement had the perfect carpet for toys with wheels. I love the landscape of Tatooine and the Adobe style houses. Something comforting about them. Luke living out there on his uncle's moisture farm, drinking cement water, whatever that stuff was. The weapons were very unique too in Star Wars. The blasters, laser guns, that's just cool. They got the greatest sound effects too. Obi-Wan. I think when I was younger, he was maybe my least favorite. Maybe that's because he was the least relatable. He wasn't scary looking. He wasn't young like Luke. He was an old man. And I remember thinking his death was both traumatic and anticlimactic. Well, I appreciate listening to me talk about what's become one of my favorite things to talk about lately. I'm looking forward to, virtually meeting some of you and interacting. Leave all the comments you want. Otherwise, I'll look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you on the next episode of My Padawan Path. Have a great day.